Chapter 29. Story Writing. A story is an account of actual or fabricated events. It can be a funny incident of one's school or life, or regular occurrence that one usually shares with his or her parents, friends. When we tell stories, we are actually imagining what happens in the story. The words that we speak are connected to our senses and our hearts. There are many types of stories, such as epics, myths, sagas, adventure, comedy, tragedy, satire, horror, and folk tales. The chief purpose of a story is to entertain the readers and the listeners. Some stories are imaginary stories, some are narrative poems. Some of these stories comprise thrill, voyage, mystery, journey, etc. And there are some that are simply amusing. Stories are a great way to acquaint ourselves with new words and ideas into a learner's language. Students can learn a great deal from simply reading a story, as learning through stories is a natural process and no actual teaching is involved in it. How to outline a short story? Turn your short story idea into a real work of fiction. Follow the guide below to plan your short story. Step 1. Decide on a protagonist. The protagonist is the main character and the person around whom the main action centers revolves. Step 2. Decide on a setting. The setting is the place where your story happens. Step 3. Decide on a goal or problem. This is what motivates the protagonist and creates the conflict that makes the story interesting. You can think of a plot as an upside down check mark. Problem or goal. What your protagonist wishes to achieve or avoid. Rising action. Challenges the protagonist experiences in trying to get what he or she wants. Climax. The protagonist either succeeds or fails to reach the goal. Ending. All of the different parts of the plot are resolved and the protagonist makes peace with the outcome, whether it's positive or negative. Your protagonist's name and description. What he or she wants to achieve or avoid. What happens at the climax, the most interesting part of the story. What happens at the end. Sample story. Work is worship. Once upon a time, there lived a king in southern India named Sri Ranacharya. He was very curious to know about his village. One day, he called the group of courtiers and said, "Go and find out how the people of my village are and bring the person who knows about the secret of work. But one condition, any person you meet, he should not know that I sent you." The courtiers did not understand the king and went away. The courtiers thought about what to do the whole night. Each of them formed a plan and they told it to each other. But all the members liked the plan of Raghu, a clever person among all the courtiers, and they all agreed on it. The very next day, they all dressed as tribals. They arranged a bullock cart with them and went around in it. First, they saw a woodcutter who was cutting down trees. They went to him and said, "Do you like this job, sir?" The woodcutter replied, "No, I do it because this work comes from our ancestors, so I was forced by my parents to do this job." The courtiers said goodbye to the woodcutter and walked away. While traveling further, the courtiers saw an angry washerman and they decided to talk to him. One of them asked, "Hello sir, we have come from East India and are new to this place. We have come to visit our friend Ram, who lives here somewhere nearby. Could you please share his address with us?" The washerman said, "Are you mad? Can't you see what I am doing? I am doing an idiotic job." The courtiers asked him, "Sir, do you like this job?" The washerman continued angrily, "No, when I was young, I do not show much interest in studies and I never listened to my parents. So I became a washerman, as I should look after my family and earn a living. To feed them, I do this job." The courtiers apologized for disturbing and went away. Then they made up their minds to leave the job and send a message to the king that no one in the village knows about the secret of work. But suddenly they saw a small hut with 5 candles and 3 lamps and a man studying a science book, and one of them said that it is a school. They went inside and asked the lecturer the same question. The lecturer replied, "I love this job as it gives me satisfaction and happiness in teaching so many uneducated children." Hearing this, the courtiers took the lecturer to the king, and the king appreciated him for knowing the secret of work. Soon, he became the best teacher in the village and was given an award, and thereafter, a big school was built. Moral: the nature of work doesn't matter as long as it interests you. If you want to achieve greater heights, believe in yourself.